And it's so funny, we're always talking about Keiko, but we always forget to mention the one man down the bot lane, Reckless, onto his Jinx. The amount of games this guy has had in his entire career, in the EU LCS, in the LEC, now playing in the LFL, making his way into EU Masters. A lot of people doubted Karmine Corp did not have the easiest of runs, especially when they started in the LFL, and yet here they are, slotted into the same group with two first seeds from Prime League and the NOC, and fighting for their lives. I think you'd be more than happy to have Reckless onto that Jinx to try and carry
veterancy, the level of
Kings,
excellence.
dynasties,
yeah, all of
legacies.
that, like bring them all up. Wherever Quickshot is, I'm sure he's nodding his head along. You understand the kind of tenure, pedigree this character brings, this player brings, and in a game like this, against a team like GamerLegion, it's the kind of stuff you want to have backing and bolstering you. You know, those additional edges that aren't just mechanical, aren't just in-game hand stuff. You know, the intangibles, as they're kind of called in sports and competitive play, whatever form it may take, is exactly the edges that can really, really matter here.
So, initialize.
Yes.
Jungle.
Indeed.
Lee Sin is going to be starting towards, from the bot side of the map, towards his top side of the map, and Volibear is going to be doing the exact opposite, playing towards the bot side of the map. Both junglers leashless right here. Of course, when you have a Jace in the tops of the map, you don't necessarily really want your Jace to be stuck in the jungle and then walking towards the tops of the map, because you really want that extra free first trade that you're having towards whatever tank you have in the top lane. Whilst towards bot, usually the push goes to the Jinx lane, because it is much easier, so you will always have that AoE early on, whilst you see the Aphelios will have the sniper and the lifesteal gun.
Does indeed. He's got Calibrum, he's got Severum. I'll remember the names, it's what I do.
Thank you very much.
I've got you, it's fine. I actually learned every single one of the abilities
For me,
as well.
it's the sniper and the lifesteal gun.
That's fair,
Red
like,
and green.
Okay, it's not red and green at least. That's it's. But yeah, doing very well though with the poke. Does land a moonshot, gets a big trade, but that's a fantastic play. Level 2 coming through pretty much simultaneously, it felt like. They're doing a great job with that, as 113 has gone for the early invade, knowing that Danka started on the other side. That's leaving in a bit of a difficult spot, as Eschik doesn't really want to come over and contest this right now. I see a bit of a scuffle over this final big chicken though. It will be secured by Danka with the E.
I am a little bit surprised right there, because Seiken was too busy dealing with the wave, shoving it in, while Essig was hovering towards the side of the map, and Essig did not walk in. Essig is gonna try to walk in right now, but he's been stopped because Seiken now has actually crushed the wave. So I feel like the mid jungle for KC is doing quite a lot of work. Essig is gonna move first though, Seiken on his back.
Magic gonna be here. Seiken is there. It will be that mid-jungle 2v2. We said it would be explosive. I didn't expect it to be that way at 3 minutes in. The charm lands and leaves the LeBlanc in a difficult position. Clone pops. Will they get close enough to contest? But the distortion hasn't been used, so any further aggression will be perhaps a little bit fruitless. They'll just back out.
Ooh,
the red buff was
Pantera.
secured by Danka though, and Pantera is here. He's off vision as well. Skull Crab secured alongside the red buff though for Danka. Means that it's not the end of the world. It'll be at least a skirmish that doesn't go to too much at this point.
Yeah, really quick reset right there from the bot lane as well. You can see how easily the Jinx can push in a lane, get that cheeky recall really quickly, unlock Pantera on the map before the Thresh gets to move first, and then have that extra layer of protection, or even gank if you so wish to. So Pantera was the first one on the map, not much lost in the bot lane. It's about a wave that Reckless is now behind on that Jinx, and now it's Visdom's turn to try and roam the map, since they just got their own reset.
Indeed it is, and a quick one as well, as you shouted out that Jinx reset's an early one, as you said, but that's pretty common, say, over in the LPL. It's something that she was talking to me about at some point as well, but generally at that point, they go towards the cull. That's their call. It's not that this time, it's gone towards the dagger, it's the refillable.
We're not farming here, we're not farming here, Nishal, as we fight.
It might be seeing a fight in the mid lane as well, as Wisdom is roaming. It's what he does, but Charm will ward him away, and that does leave Ginger in a slightly difficult position, as 113 trying to catch up with him, but will just force him into the jungle, away from lane though, critically.
Okay, so purple and red not the best guns to fight with at this point in time if you are the Aphelios. And then you also have an entire wave that's shoved in underneath your tower by the Jinx. So you actually need to dissipate the situation and everyone gets to go home safely. At this point, though, you do see that K-Corp are trying to apply pressure wherever they can. The Jinx resets, Hantera is unlocked on the map instantly, level 2 goes mid lane. Then Vistum starts roaming. Then you see the 113 is trying to cover towards spots on the map to try and punish the Aphelios if he oversteps. So again, we have a Karmine Corp that does really like to play and favor the bot side of their map, whilst leaving the Jace up to his own devices towards the top side.
Absolutely, and this is an early game as well that right now is pretty much neck and neck. It's 100 gold, if that separates them. And neither team has found an edge as yet. Neither team has found the initial angle to make this one work. And honestly, when we have seen Karmine Corp falter over EU Masters and obviously back in the LFL as well, it's often been in the early game, but right now at Amazon EU Masters, they've been doing just fine right now in this one. They're feeling okay in this match, and that's a good sign for Karmine Corp fans.
This is, again, so freaking telegraphed. You see that 113 has the timer on these chickens, gets in every single time, steals them away. There is nothing that Danka can do because Essek has been pushed in every single time. Level 6 right now onto Saken's area as well, and they might be looking towards the bot side of the map.
Still a dark passage, though, available, so won't be able to get too much more. And that's another look. Wave doesn't turn out that well. Indeed, it is. Has to leave that one behind. And again, we've seen a few looks. We've seen some skirmishes. We've seen some attempts in various positions, but nothing has stuck as yet. We've got about a minute or so until the Heralds spawn. Probably a minute and a half until people really start contesting for it. We have still got a first Drake up, so I imagine one of those two things where we're likely to see our first point of real action.
Yeah, and if you look at the two junglers as well, level 5 for 113 versus level 4 for Danka, and he has his entire top side up and available as well. He can roam towards the top side of the map if the Malphite over pushes too. So I think that right now 113 is in a great situation to get ahead of that Lee Sin, get that level 6, potentially pick a dive towards the bot side of the map and then go for that dragon.
That's the option you can see. Wisdom, Eschek, and of course that Lee Sin from Danka about to make their own bot. It will be a 4v2. Teleports not available from Karmine Corp. They would be able to come and contest this, but the ward in the bush means that the rest of GL decides probably isn't worthwhile right now, and Hantera and Reckless playing defensively, going back towards the Krugs, knowing that they are at threat of a dive here.
There is so much action towards that bot side of the map, towards a bot side river, towards a bot side in general. It is KC trying to make plays and GL trying to shut down that bottling pressure that Reckless and Hantera can actually exert. And 113, level 6, trying to pull a dive onto Sakurai. He's level 7 though.
They're gonna go in. That's a decent interrupt though, with the Unstoppable Force flashing away with a turn off the tower. And he's gonna get knocked down with a hammer blow. First blood goes to Cabochard's Jace.
I think that was a bit of an oopsie from Sakurai because he ults before anyone touches him, which means that while they're airborne, no one takes damage from the tower. I would like to see the replay maybe to make sure that this actually happened, but I'm pretty sure he ults before anyone touches him. On the other side of the map, GamerLegion, yes, they lose their Malphite and there's no TP or flash available for him, so he's gonna lose a lot towards the top side of the map, but they've gotten 4 turret platings onto their Aphelios, who is 10 CS ahead. They've gotten the first dragon, which means they can start getting them stacked up. And the only thing they're losing right now is on the jungle matchup. The Lee Sin has fallen 10 CS behind, fallen XP behind, and that Volibear has actually managed to pull out a gank. And if I'm not wrong, I think he's starting the Rift Herald as well.
Here is that replay.
Here is the replay that I want to see. Level 7 on Sakurai. He does have the ultimate, but right before any damage lands, exactly, no damage has landed from the side of K-Corp, which means that that tower did not do the full extent of damage that it could have. And KC are going to get scar-free from that one.
And I get it, I do. You're trying to outplay the stun and then get out from there, because if you get stunned, it's layered into the Stormbringer, and the tower gets turned off anyway, and it doesn't matter that he has aggro.
Yep.
Even so, a difficult situation, still wasn't quite outplayed, was fine margins, and unfortunately for Sakurai, he doesn't quite make it work. Jace gets first blood, he gets to stay ahead of the curve, which is always a big one in the early lane versus a Malphite, because if the Jace falls behind, he suddenly does jack all damage to the Malphite, who just gets to build Warden Mail and Steel Caps, and take practically no damage.
So here we're looking, of course, at 113 and where he wants to drop that Rift Herald, right? Seiken might be in trouble. He does have his flash and his ultimate available and 4
Everyone's
teammates
here.
with him.
We've seen a few of these like 3-man roaming squads from GamerLegion. They haven't really amounted to too much yet, but I appreciate the look in. And as it stands, reminder, 113 did pick up the Herald at the back end of the plays from topside as a big chunk goes on to Cabochard, who has to flash out from the unstoppable force. Well done from Sakura to force that one.
That is some great stuff right there. And if you look on your minimap right now, Danka is pathing towards the top side of the map. He will take that red and possibly he will try to make his way towards the top side to try and punish the Jace. You see that he will make his way through the river. The Skull Crab is there up and available as well. He will meet with Cabochard. He could die here.
That's well played. Gets over the top of Danka Machines. He kicks him out to safety. Cabochard with a to the skies. Goes to the bot side of the river as well and gets out from that one.
That was quite unfortunate because Danka had just used his Q onto the Scuttle Crab. If that was an RQ, it could potentially be a 100-0 from Danka onto Cabochard, but unfortunately his Q wasn't cooled down from using it on Scuttle Crab. Nevertheless, though, it is going to be Cabo having to move away and having to face a Malphite yet again. That ultimate is almost halfway gone. And remember, there is a Rift Herald in the pocket of 113 as well. And he is looking towards the bot side of the map, of course.
Of course he was, and you can see 113 was having a look at the bot side, but was spotted out by that ward you can see just behind the Dragon Pit, which would lead S-Chick to come down and check what was going on. Sonic Wave just about goes wide, and that will leave us with not too much to write home about. There's that ward again. And we're back to seeing whether there'll be a spot for this Rift Herald to come down.
Hey, we're back to bot lane.
We've been here a few times. No one has actually died down here yet. There'll be a flash out for Vincent, though. Moonlight Vision goes wide from Ginger on the turnaround. There is the death sentence. Flay away from the threat. Maybe we finally get a kill, and it will be Reckless. Of course it's Reckless. Who picks up the kill right now? But Danka. S-Chick coming in behind Ginger. Forsaken's here as well. It is a 4v3. Danka gets rooted by the Everfrost, by the shield of Daybreak that will keep him in place. It's a kill for 113. Unstoppable! Turns off the turret. Seiken gets them all. They'll at least get 113 in trade, but that is now 3 for 1 overall in the bot side. I asked for action. I damn well got it.
Okay, Seiken is fishing. He has flash. He has flash. He doesn't want it though.
I saw you being nervous there.
Yeah, I was about to say this is a major win. But the problem is the bear is dead. The bear is the one that has the Rift Herald. This could have been first tower down the bot lane with all the plates going to Reckless as a courtesy of the bear, but the bear ends up dying. So right here, Vision will very wisely flash the Leona ultimate, and the cleanse will be popped by Jinjo, but the ultimate has missed. Moonlight Vigil has missed, and then his board gets locked down and taken down. And remember, Danka used his flash onto Cabochard. If that was a kick right there, it would be into 3 people, would have been massive, but he doesn't have the cooldown, and he ends up being instantly punished. Of course, right there, we have 113 diving into the tower to try and get more kills onto his carries. And don't you worry, the Rift Herald will be put into good use, will be given to Cabochard. But again, it's 3 members versus 3 members from GamerLegion and Karmine Corp.
The roams have been matched, and GamerLegion, absolutely. You can see there's the mid lane and the jungler just off screen from the various representative Seikens and Danka looking to see what they can get. Jinjo might try and trade out the towers, race for that first turret brick, but it's still going to go the way of Cabochard, who is gratefully going to receive that donation alongside the Rift Herald. Jinjo should be able to pick up this turret in trade relatively shortly after, though.
Yeah, and if you look on the timer as well, 5 seconds for the Dragon, and look at the inventories. Everybody has a mythic item from the side of Karmine Corp, except the Leona. You don't really care, the Leona is just CC bot at this point, but everyone else does have their core mythic items, and that's what matters when you want to go for a team fight. So KC are going to try to shove in the mid wave, and they're most likely going to make their way towards the bot side of the map to secure the first Dragon of the game.
Do exceptionally well with that, getting themselves up to a healthy 3,000 gold lead here as the mid-game strikes round plates have now fallen. Dragon number 1 about to be secured. No one's gone towards that as yet. You can see it in the gold discrepancies right now. Very much Cabochard, who has taken a lot of that early gold alongside 113.
I mean, that's what you're expecting, right? When you're playing the Jace into the Malphite, you're expecting that your Jace is going to pretty much have a free lane. The Malphite is there to sort of neutralize and not die. And even though Sucker has died once, I think he's done pretty well for himself. He's only 16 CS behind, which is pretty good for somebody who's played a tank into the Jace, and he's going to be that big mid shield that the Aphelios is going to need later on to teamfight.
And it's looking like a pretty good snowball right now from Karmine Corp, who've had Some mixed performances in the early game thus far at the Amazon EU Masters. We saw some moments in play-ins where they were dropping kills early and then coming back in the mid-game pretty well. We saw the game versus 6-7. They kind of got a little bit rolled and then returned the favor the day after. We've got a fight in the mid lane, though, as a big chunk goes out, and they will actually get 1-1-3. That was not necessarily expected. That's Saken trying to get a bit more. Is out of charge, but should be able to trade back onto the Thresh shortly after. Kabashard and Saken running him down. Danker's coming up, but the health bars are just so low. I don't know about it. They're going to try and teleport in. Stuns there, and they won't quite be able to make it work. I appreciate the look in, but just a little bit too much there.
Half it's in, but everyone's outie, and Saken missed, I think, a few too many skill shots right there, or Wisdom would have been dead much earlier. 1-1-3 also dies without getting to use his ultimate, and Hunter needs to run.
Does get knocked up, does have flash, and does get out of the Moonlight Vigil. There'll be no Binding Eclipse to follow up, and Sakurai, it's no AP Malphite, doesn't quite have the burst to make that one stick.
But that's fine, because you ban 2 ultimates and you get a summoner out of the Leona, and then again, you see the trades going on in the mid lane between Saken and Nessic, and 1-1-3 just dives into Fog of War, not respecting the fact that you cannot see the Thresh. It's locked down for so long that he does not get to use his ultimate, and then Saken misses a few too many skills right there, the Everfrost, the taunt. At the end of the day, they do get Wisdom right there. They do manage to kill the Thresh. They pull in the teleport from Sakurai as well. But KC, again, first on the map to reset and first to get onto that Rift Herald.
Does a lot of damage, misses the Shock Blast though, and now might have overextended as she can stop forward. Danker forces the flash with the Sonic Wave, but won't connect.
It's fine, because he's absorbing pressure towards the top side of the map yet again. He gets the LeBlanc and he gets the Lee Sin towards the top side, meaning that there's no plays being made in the mid lane, meaning that Karmine Corp can have their Jinx very close to the tower, taking it down together with the Rift Herald, and it's going to be 2 towers in the mid lane, which completely unlock the map. Especially when you're playing champions like the LeBlanc, like the Lee Sin. You want to be able to have that vision down to make the plays. But at this point, it's going to get really difficult, because Karmine Corp can use the power of the Leona being beefy and the Volibear to walk into Danker's quadrants of the jungle and actually set down the vision and be the ones to trap them.
That was very nearly a nice pick there by Saken, but a swift sidestep from Wisdom prevents himself from being hit by the charm. And about to say, I feel like I've seen this game plan play out from an NFL team earlier in the day. We've seen a very early snowball that's been pretty clean, that's led to a very large gold lead at the 17-minute mark. And beginning to ask, what can GamerLegion do to try and come back into it? Of course, they have got Malphite, they have got Aphelios. If they can find a good team fight, blow up someone like Reckless, there are options, but it's feeling pretty difficult right now with the map state as it is.
I was about to say it's feeling kind of rough, because you just mentioned Reckless. Reckless has a Kraken. He already has his tank killing item together with a rapid fire, so he can poke from distance, while Sakurai has Budget Sail in his inventory. He's got Bami Cinder, he's got some magic resist, he's got a Tabis even there. It's just really difficult to try and survive the damage when your opponents have already built their core items. And then on the other hand, you also have 2 items on the Jace. The poke is really going to hurt your teammates, who are extremely squishy. Lee Sin, LeBlanc, Aphelios, Thresh, oh, so squishy. One Shock Blast lands and somebody's going to have to be moved out of the fight, which means that KC get to do this again. Remember, we said that LeBlanc and Lee Sin love making plays. They love trapping you, but they can't, because KC are forcing their way into Danker's jungle.
I was about to make a quip about the car boot sale not having any N64 or Pokemon titles in it, so it's not much of a car boot sale, but the damage is coming through. It's just, you know, no laughing matter. The 2 items, very nearly a transformation, honestly, for Jace. You know, he's about 45 odd stacks off from that. Very close to coming through, and suddenly that Jace can hit even harder, and that 1 item spike where there's a half item discrepancy, you can kind of play around. 2 items coming through, it becomes so much harder to deal with when you're kind of full item completion down.
Absolutely agree. And right here again, KC at the Thirst and the Reaver, and that is your tank, your main tank that's supposed to be in the front line, that's been chucked down to half HP. 1-1-3 tries to find an opening, but you can't move too far forward.
Will force the ultimates out. That'll be both the Solar Flare and the Stormbringer coming through. Another chain lands, chunks out Hantera, and they'll trade back that damage pretty well, all things said and done there from GamerLegion.
I think at this point, KC is trying to overreach a little bit too much. 1-3 is going to burn both his flash and his ultimate, which means he has no business in the river. And K-Corp are actually going to lose that dragon. And it's a little bit questionable right here because you've got the vision in the river, you've got the setup, you're the first ones there. You shouldn't be looking to overreach for the fight, just poke people out. But because Seiken had to burn his ultimate, he couldn't play too aggressive, having Sakurai there with his ultimate. And suddenly, this went a little bit south for Karmine Corp. They had the vision, they had the setup, they didn't have the mid lane pushed out, and they ended up getting caught. Really good stuff for GamerLegion. They see the opening, they try to make the picks, they take people down low enough to the point where they can't walk into the river, and then they take the dragon for themselves.
And that was from 5,000 gold down after he's saying the item discrepancy is looking pretty difficult. And the moment they did it, GamerLegion continue to find ways to be competitive. To pick up a Drake like that is fantastic news for them.
Absolutely. And the Malphite right here is just gonna start getting tankier and tankier. He's got his gauntlet already completed. And as you can see, Eschik is already hurting a lot, but Danka's been caught.
Danka goes down. They're going to teleport in. Hantera has to go gold, but he's in a difficult position. Throws out the Moonlight Vigil, flashes away from his Sakurai, thinking about going in. Hantera still being chunked out. Jinjo switches out his weapon. Eschik has to flash back, and it will just be a 1-for-none right now as Sakurai about to be run down. Skysplitter comes through, but he'll be dragged to safety by the Lantern of Wisdom. Lose a kill, but nothing more right now.
And there isn't anything on the map right now that is for the taking. Only the tier 2 bot lane tower is standing, but the wave is gonna go down and the other one is pretty far away. So yes, GamerLegion are going to lose the jungler, but no more than that, thankfully for them. It is not a Baron angle whatsoever for Karmine Corp, and slowly but surely they're gonna have to start playing for solo, stacking these dragons again, making sure that you set down your vision now that you have all these towers taken down. Because if you look on the map, you've got every single tower but one in the bot lane started for Karmine Corp. Also, the other side for GamerLegion, you only have tier 2s remaining on top and bot, which means that they can very easily, Karmine Corp, walk into your jungle, set down the vision, and try to trap that way.
Quick point of order, though. I believe we do have a little bit of a spectator bug here as well. Those first 2 dragons were taken. It is a Cloud Rift, and that means that GamerLegion currently at 2 Drakes, Karmine Corp, I believe, at 1. So just keep that in mind, despite what the scoreboard might be telling you. I know that caught me out a little earlier on, so correcting that one for the viewers at home. And now we're set up with mid-lane control. A little bit of an EU ram, so to speak. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue like a J ram or a Nay ram right now, and left ourselves with a bit of a choke point in the river. Teleport coming through as well. And Reckless actually on the other side of this getting choked way out. I wasn't expecting that. I was not paying attention. And suddenly he's just dead. Out of nowhere. Congratulations to GamerLegion.
That was so well played. That was so well played. Sakurai is always looking for Reckless. Reckless even had flash right then. He ends up going down. That means that GamerLegion are getting such huge tempo on the map. It is a 4 versus 5 and Seiken, huge poke from the back.
Danka chunked to very low as Sakurai gets charmed as well. He's now in danger. He doesn't have flash. Will get landed out to safety. The final order not quite enough. Seiken does have one final spirit. Rush charge remaining as the shock blast brings down the rock. The mountain is dead. Danka kicks him away, but the charm will not matter. They get another 2 and Karmine Corp punish the death of their AD carry with 3 right back. Eschik tries to get one more goal. Quite make it happen, but the charm from Seiken is just too clean. They get another, and Wisdom alone survives to tell the tale.
That went from great to disaster real quickly right here, Initialize. I think GamerLegion had a pretty good idea on how to play the fight. They took Reckless's flash, which is a much longer cooldown than Sakurai's ultimate, so don't push your luck too hard. Try to replicate that later on as well, and right here they're trying to push that mid lane tower, and they're very indecisive. Wisdom plays on the right side, while the rest of his team is playing on the left side. Sakurai gets caught by Seiken, and imagine he's itemized full AD damage, which means he melts to Seiken's Ari, and then the rest of the people have a pretty good idea what they want to do. Great tick from Danka onto 4 people and a great Moonlight Vigil, but it does not matter because they fall one by one, and then Eschik tries to make a play and gets instantly punished as well. That was a very unfortunate chain of events, and maybe another one right here.
113's gone golden, but will he be able to get out afterwards is more the question we have to ask. Taking out a half HP, but not too much more damages. Jinjo does walk onto the traps, won't quite go down for it. Got 20 seconds until the dragon. And the commencing fights, the skirmishes, the posturing, so aggressive right now. Seiken pops the ultimate, throws out the charm, won't quite hit it. Into the backline goes Sakurai, but he's left alone. and nobody will fall afterwards. They're not running away now. GamerLegion as the rocket comes flying through from Reckless, who's got some chakrams though. Does Jinjo trying to make some more happen? 113 down pretty low. Gets hooked. Will about to go down, flashing away. Cabo shot though finds another shock blast at the bottom of your screen. S-Chick being chunked out. A charm onto Jinjo secures him as well. And GamerLegion are being routed by the blue wall. It's just too high to overcome.
They're TPing mid. I think this is where they want to end. Eschik is being chased away by 113, and the double TPs are coming through. They're going to take top lane, tier 2 at least, and they're hitting onto mid lane, inhibitor tower 2. Bot lane wave is pushing, and Eschik is just not allowed to back. Of course, Baron buff is going to be active on Seiken too, which means they can very easily try to push in that mid lane wave. And oh my god, the coordination from the side of Karmine Corp is beautiful. And even though as I'm assuming we'll see on the replay, Sakura does hit his mark again. This time he's
just not
all alone.
Not this time. There was no way to finish up the Jinx. And alas, it was a one-way mission. Cabo Shard with a basic ability does so much damage. In comes Sakura, but the turnaround is just obscene. Down goes the Lee Sin. That is the 5th death of the game for Danka, who is definitely not thankful for the damage coming through on his end. Fistum as well. Oh my days. Avert your eyes. This isn't fit for public broadcast. Truly atrocious damage coming out, doing monstrous stuff. Cabashot survives still? No! No. That is foul stuff. You cannot get away with absolute murder. They walk in and 2v4. Cabochard and Seiken style on GamerLegion.
I think they walked away with quadruple murder right here initialized, because the 2 solo lanes from KC have put GL 6 meters down under.
Put out a police report. We have got some serial killers in the solo laners for Karmine Corp. They'll move to 2 and 1. They'll move GamerLegion down to 1 and 2. And Karmine Corp's death, the stories of it, have been greatly exaggerated.